Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being on this special question and Q&A webinar with the cash flow king himself. I'm going to introduce you to him in just a little bit here, but I'm really excited to have you guys on this webinar with us. Of course, you guys have seen the videos that we've been sending out with Alan, the cash flow king, Schnur here in Houston. And the reason why, and I'll share with you a little bit of background on how I met Alan and stuff. I belong to this exclusive mastermind group of very successful entrepreneurs, internet marketers, real estate investors, and I met Alan through another friend of mine in the mastermind group. We were all sharing our success about our business and how well we're doing, despite what's going on in today's economy. And Alan shows up, right? And he starts talking about, because the whole time we were talking about active income, like the money that we're making, this month or this week. And Alan's like, oh, that's great, guys, but see, I don't have to work for my money. It's like, well, what do you mean you don't have to work for my money? And he talks about how he has this huge, massive amount of passive income streams that comes to him, whether he works or not, whether he's out there vacationing somewhere in Hawaii, or or taking his son to Disney World in Japan, in Tokyo. It doesn't matter. His business, his real estate properties continue to bring him in money month after month after month, passively, passive income. And so, I mean, here we are in a group, in a room full of very successful entrepreneurs, and we're all in awe about this because, we don't have as big of a passive income stream as Alan does. And the stuff that we do, we make a lot of money, but it's a one-hit. I call it transactional income, meaning you do a transaction, and for you to make more money, you have to do another transaction, another transaction. Unlike what Alan has set up, is that he does the transaction once, and that same transaction pays for him month after month after month, year after year after year, and can pay for him for his whole lifetime and his kids' lifetime, for generations after him, if he wanted, if they want to retain those assets to continue to make money for him. And you can kind of think of it like this. If you think of money as being your slaves, what Alan has done is he uses money. He bought some slaves with his money, and he made those slaves made baby slaves, and those baby slaves made more baby slaves. So he has like 3-4 generations of grandpa slaves. I'm talking about money slaves here, okay? So not to be, not talking about the human slavery, but he has like 3-4 generations of money slaves working for him day and night, whether he's sleeping or not, making money for him. And so we all got jealous about that. And from there, I said, Alan, we gotta let people know about what is it that you do, and how you're making all your money, how you have all of these baby slaves making money for you while you're sleeping, and so that's how this whole project came about, and how this whole project came about. And he has an amazing story, and he shares some of that stories through the videos that you guys learned already. But I mean, this is the guy that used to be, literally homeless, living out of his work office for a year, and here he is now, a multi-real estate millionaire, passive income, I should say, millionaire. And so I'm really excited to have him on the line with us today, on the webinar with us today, to answer all of your questions, because from the videos that we've been sending out, we saw a lot of questions on the blog, and I'm sure that you guys will have a lot of questions in your mind already, as you prepare for this call. And so that's the purpose of tonight's call, is just to, you guys can ask Alan, ask the cash flow king, ask many questions as you want. Just work him. Put him to work for once, right? Otherwise he'll start getting lazy. So put him to work and ask him as many questions as you want. You guys are free to do that. This webinar is completely free to you. And just make sure after this, you guys send Alan some comments on the blog about how much you enjoy tonight's webinar, and how much you appreciate him for creating all of those free training videos for you, as well as doing tonight's webinar for you. So with that, I give you the cash flow king. Yay!
Hang on, I'm putting my family to work.
So all right. Yeah. So say hi to everybody real quick.
Well, this is fantastic. Hello, everybody. And I'm just so juiced and so jazzed up, and I'm going to try to refrain myself so I can remain inside this small little webcam screen so you can see me. But just such a great opportunity for me, a greater opportunity for you folks, because first of all, I'm so passionate about what I do for a living and helping you folks, and the opportunities right now. Look, I know it's really tough out there right now, and if it's job security that you're worried about, or maybe even your company, or where your money's coming from, or you want to do something different. I just always had this philosophy, well, at least for the last 20 years, which was, look, let me work hard for one time. Let me buy something, put it in the portfolio, and let it just pay me every single month, and every single month, and every single month. And what Tim was getting at was legacy, and I love it. We don't think about that enough. This is my legacy. This is what I leave behind. This is what I'm doing. This is for my children and their children. And as long as that money keeps coming in 24/7, you really get to live that lifestyle that that you dream about, and take those vacations. And I can remember before I had this in my life, I'd go away. I'd be worried if I had a job to go back to. I was in the commission business. I would worry if I did have a job to go back to, would I lose some customers for being away for just a single week? So, I mean, the real estate's affected my life in such a dramatic, positive way. Please, let's open this up, start asking some questions, and I'm here to share at least 2 decades of experience with you folks. And on the webinar tomorrow night, we're going to try to compress decades into an hour or two. So thank you for having me. Thank you for showing up. I honor you for sitting here. I know you have a family downstairs or outside the door, waiting and crying, and they want to play with you. And so let's make the best of this. And please, if you can just walk away with one idea tonight that would make a difference, I mean, that's what it's all about, one idea at a time. So just look for that, that small turning point that makes a difference for you, please. So, Tim, where should we go with this next?
Awesome. Well, let's just jump right into it and start answering these questions. We have a lot of questions that got submitted in through the blog, as well as people are submitting in right now. So, hey, guys, go ahead and on that, go to Webinar Control Panel on the right side here. Go ahead and start sending in as many questions as you want Alan to answer for you. I mean, this is a free coaching webinar for you, so take advantage of it and start sending in your questions. All right, so here's the first one from Jeffrey. How do you handle appraisal? Who pays for it?
Okay, so we're talking commercial real estate, but for this question, Tim, I'm going to assume we're talking about apartment buildings. And
okay.
When it comes to the appraisals with the apartment buildings, things are really different in the market we find ourselves in now. Back in the day, or just a few years ago, you can pick your appraiser, right? You can pick your friend, you can pick someone you know, or even the bank. But right now, there's so much scrutiny going on out there with loans and banks and appraisers. It's almost random. Sometimes they bring national people in to do appraisals. Other times, the bank might choose, but the bank has to make a very careful choice, and and have to be able to back up the decision on who they chose. So one thing for sure, folks, no longer can you personally choose your appraiser. And who's paying for it? Well, yours truly. So the buyer of the property is paying for it, and it's paid up front before the appraiser comes out in case the deal falls apart. So that's who pays for the appraisal. When it comes to appraising apartment buildings, it can cost, well, the appraisal, the price of the building can cost anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000. I recently spent $3,500 on a 162-unit appraisal. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Jeffrey, if you still have more question on that, go ahead and ask that, okay? And I guess this is a related question here. How do you get the true value of the apartment without the appraisal?
How do you get the true value? How do you get the true value?
Well, maybe that you know before you have to pay out money for the appraisal. Like, how can you maybe quickly estimate the value or something?
Here's what I like to do. I like to understand the submarket first to see what's around the apartment building that you're interested in purchasing. So I'd like to find some market comps. I'd like to find out, if at all possible, what other buildings in the areas had sold for. Sometimes that information is hard to find. Other times you can actually find that information on the internet, Tim. A great website by the name of LoopNet, which is one of the easiest ways I ever figured out how to buy apartment buildings. So loopnet.com, and when you're a member of that website, they even post sales prices. So that's a great, you can find sales prices on loopnet.com. And you know, folks, if somebody wants to sell you an apartment building and you don't want to make the leap to pay for the appraisal just yet, well, get their books and get their records, get their rent roll. And then once you get their rent roll, you can start doing some calculations. I know we don't have enough time to go into it right now, but there's something called a capitalization rate, short, a cap rate, and you just figure out what's the net operating income of the building, what's the bottom line, and then there's a multiple in your market, and that helps you determine the price as well. So you have a market comp, and then you can try to use some financials to figure out the price. And another way, you know, lots of banks and insurance companies do it this way. Replacement cost. What's the replacement cost? If this building burnt down to the ground, what would it cost to rebuild it? So those are three good methods in trying to figure out what the building's worth before you hire a professional appraiser.
I see. Okay, that's definitely a great tip there. All right. Another question is, how do you estimate repairs on these commercial properties?
Well, folks, that's a tough one. I mean, I have a really quick analysis. When it comes to the roofing, I have a general rule. We go, how many units are in the building? Let's just say there's 100 units in this one particular building, and all the roofs need to be replaced. We round off a little and we say, okay, each unit's going to cost $1,500 in roofing times 100, so $150,000 on roofs. So that's a $1,500 per unit principal we use for roofs. I would bring general contractor in, folks. I'd bring a general contractor in. They'll give you free estimates. Some that have to drive out of their way along, maybe they'll charge you a few $100s. But hey, they want the business, right? They want to be involved. They want to be included. A lot of people will give you free estimates. You want to take a good look at your HVAC systems and the wiring. So bring an electrician. They should do that for free as well. Plumbing, the plumber wants the job. If you buy the building, bring him in. You might even want to spend a little extra money and hire the plumber to put down his camera so he can get a good look at what's inside those pipes. So listen, trying to figure out your rehab costs is definitely part of the formula if it's going to be a good buy or not. And please come to the webinar, and we'll talk more about rehabs. There's just not enough time to go into it. But I have spreadsheets and I have forms that I'm going to be more than happy to share with the group, Tim, on how to do a rehab.
Got it. Okay. Here's another question here. how do you get financing? In how many deals do you have the owner carry back a note?
Okay,
It's
two-part question. Let's just talk about financing, folks. Comes up all the time. Everybody wants to know how it's being done. We hear all these horror stories, how banks just aren't lending anymore. Personally, I'm seeing more lending right now over the last few months than I have seen in the last few years. So lending's easing up a little right now. It's fantastic. More market participants, more lenders are coming back into the market, creates competition, which leads to more opportunities to our listeners here who want to borrow money and buy apartment buildings. So, folks, I'm a huge fan of local banks. I mean, the big guys, you're right. They're not exactly playing right now. You don't get the respect you deserve. They're not too interested in your sub-market. They're more interested in what's going on in the world. Local banks have come through for me in a big way. They financed a good 3 or 4 of my apartment units in the last apartment complexes in the last 12 months. So if you're with a big bank, I would really suggest opening up a bank account with a local bank and developing a banking relationship. Put some money in a CD, explain to them what you're doing, and they will really appreciate that, because when you open up an account at that local bank, well, you're helping them borrow more money off of your money. So local banks, great way. Life insurance companies, secret. Well, it's not a secret anymore. Life insurance companies, if you saw one of my earlier videos, huge way of borrowing money right now. Who are the life insurance companies? Well, just Google the life insurance companies in your area. And I'm not just talking about the little mom and pop offices. Find the corporate headquarters. Believe me, they're looking for you. We live in a 0 to 1% world. I mean, you just can't make money in the bank anymore. So these life insurance companies, they need to lend it out to you. They'll lend it out to you at 5, 6, 7, 8% because they had a return to their policyholders 5 to 10%. They would love to lock in a fantastic building with you folks. So life insurance companies, local lenders. If you really need to move quick, well then use hard money. Hard money can be expensive. There's lots of hard money lenders. But I mean, you're not going to lose it. You don't want to lose $1 million equity play because you don't want to spend a few extra $1,000 borrowing hard money. So it's short-term bridge financing until you can get into longer-term financing like 5-year money or 10-year money or even 20-year money. So the good news is this is perfect timing right now. Lending is coming back stronger than it's been in 36 months. The second part of the question was, I believe, Tim, was it like owner financing? The owner's taking back notes, correct?
Right.
So when I've done a few owner finance deals before, and yes, it's helped out tremendously. I remember I took control of a $2 million asset in Pasadena, Texas, and I brought very little money to the table. The owner left his financing there for me. You want to make sure that the owner can actually do that. So check with his bank, because I don't want to see you folks think you're getting owner financing, invest some money in the property and fix it up, and then the bank finds out and isn't too happy about the situation because the bank really lent the owner the money, not you. The owner might have more credibility than you, so the bank might get a little upset and take that building back. So just make sure everybody's involved when the owner leaves his financing there. And then the other part of the question was, well, maybe the owner will take back a note, so maybe you can get a few $100,000 credit when it comes to borrowing money from a new lender. Just be careful. I mean, more than ever, a lender wants to make sure that the new person in charge has skin in the game. If it's sweat equity or if it's capital, they just want to make sure you're involved and you're not going to walk away and this whole project's going to fall apart.
Right. Okay. Let me see here. I have never done a deal. What suggestions do you have to get funding for an apartment complex out of state?
Never done a deal. First, you might want to go after owner financing. Go after owner financing. Find somebody. I call them don't wanters. Find somebody who doesn't want it. They want out. They bought it a few years ago or 5 or 10 years ago, and their life situation, their circumstances changed. Great opportunity. That's how I got into one of my first projects. Guy didn't want to. He was a cosmetic dentist, and that's what he wanted to go back to doing full time. And for very little money down, he left his financing there. I had a good 3 or 4 years to use his financing before I had to go and replace it. But let me just, you have to be a little cautious with this. When you walk into a deal and someone leaves financing behind for you to use, if something happens to that person, like maybe they go bankrupt or they go through a nasty divorce or something, that would reflect you being the new owner, because that person who just owner financed it to you, he's really in control of the building. You think you're in control, but the bank and him are in control. So what I did was I used his owner financing for a good 90 to 120 days, stabilized the property, got some experience underneath my belt, took pictures of before I got to the property, and then took pictures after I did a minor rehab and found a new lender. So it's a great way to build a track record, because that's what you want to do when you're brand new. Build a track record, document everything. I did this, I did that. I increased the rents, the vacancies went through the roof. Look at, pictures, documentation, write it all down, and that will help you get the lending that you need to do your first deal if you use owner financing. Other than that, if it's your first deal, sometimes when you bring more money to the closing table, that will convince a lender to lend you money. Like me, I can get money for 20%. Maybe someone who's never done a deal before might have to bring 25, 30, 35% to the table. So the more money you bring to the table, the more likelihood you'll get money to do your first deal.
Gotcha. Okay. And let me see here. I'd like to know, on your first deal, did you use bank financing and a sponsor to help you with your down payment?
Okay, so my first deal was actually this owner financing deal. So I didn't have to bring anyone to the deal. The money, the loan was already in place, and I was assuming it. So sometimes when you do deals for the first time, when someone says sponsor, I think the sponsoring days are over. But what you might want to do is just borrow the money or share liability together. So when the bank sees that maybe you have a money partner, and the money partner's bringing all the money to the table, and you're bringing the sweat equity to the table, well, maybe the bank wants to see both of you in the transaction, because they want to have more recourse. The bank would rather see a group of people involved that sign on the mortgage than just one person.
Gotcha. Okay. And which deal when you actually did? All right, give us an example of a deal that you actually used bank financing.
Sure. Let's see here. Actual deal I did. Oh yeah, the Meadow Creek story was in one of my videos. 34-unit building, one of my first buildings. Yes, I bought it for cash. But within 60 days, a bank came in and refinanced it in a second. And let me tell you why, folks. I call it stealing the deal. If you can get an incredible buy, it's not going to be that hard for you to find money, because banks are ultimately in the business to lend you money. So a lot of it has to do with the deal. There was another building that was in the video. And a partner and I bought this deal for $300,000. But let me tell you something. It wasn't even a week of owning this property that a bank lent us $525,000 on the spot. Just on the spot. Benjamin Graham, I believe, was Warren Buffett's teacher. And he used to say, look, what we're trying to do here is buy dollars for 50 cents. So if you can try to buy a building, say for $1 million, say it's worth $1 million, and say you can buy it for $500,000, folks, you're not going to have a hard time getting lending. If you do, go to a different lender. That lender just decided that particular week they're not lending on apartment buildings. Maybe they're lending residential. So I call it the bank game. You know, if a bank doesn't want to lend you 50 cents to buy a dollar, try a new bank. That's it.
Right. Okay. How do you get cash back at closing?
Sure. You know, you guys saw a video, one of my videos. We left the closing table with $250,000 because we stole the deal. I mean, we bought something for $450,000. It appraised for was it $1,190,000, and we only needed, we were really just planning to take our original investment out because we're trying to capture all that equity so we can make that much more cash flow. So like you said, Tim, so I can put everyone in my lineage to work, my dollars, right, my slaves. So high appraisal, I mean, it's kind of the same game that, you know, we were playing 5 or 10 years ago. The appraisal comes in really high, and the bank says, okay, you can borrow 60-70% up to the appraised price. And, you know, that's exactly what happened. I mean, we were only in the deal for $450,000, but they said, no, go ahead and take, what is that, $700,000 back. So we bought something for $450,000, we took $700,000 back because it appraised for $1.19 million.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. How do you handle your capital gains?
How do I handle my capital gains? Well,
I mean, you don't have capital gain taxes on your deals, right? Because you hold them.
I really haven't sold too much in single-family houses or apartment buildings. But if we can gear the question more towards what kind of tax treatment do you get from owning real estate? I mean, oh, it's absolutely huge. I mean, I worked in corporate America for a very long time, and you know, so folks, I own 102 single-family houses and commercial real estate, and the benefit is just unbelievable because I mean, the government wants to incentivize real estate investors and entrepreneurs like all of us. So in a way of doing that, you know, they come up with these, you know, they're your partner. They want you to do these deals, and they're going to give you money back, and they're going to give you tax breaks. So if you have all this W-2 earned income or all this K-1 partner distribution coming in, and you have real estate, the depreciation's unbelievable. The write-offs are unbelievable. The fact that you'd have a real estate business on top of all this is unbelievable. I mean, you can literally have $300,000 to $500,000 in write-offs in real estate, and you can literally make $300,000 to $500,000 in income and pay zero tax, Tim. So net to you would be huge. You're creating your own tax shelter.
Right, exactly. Okay, let me see here.
Hey Tim, if I can just touch on, you know, so I don't sell, but if I did sell a property and I was worried about the capital gains tax and I didn't have enough write-offs, now maybe this can also help that person out. 1031 exchange is just huge, absolutely huge. It's one of the last great benefits of you know, not paying your taxes legally. You sell a property, you make a huge gain on it, and you roll it forward to another like-kind property, and you can just keep going and going and going and going. And that's how these huge REITs do it. I mean, they buy something for $10 million, they make millions of dollars or even hundreds of millions of dollars, and they don't have to pay capital gains tax on it. They roll it over to the next project. It's unbelievable. And as their portfolio grows and their revenues grow, well, so does the massive passive income, right?
Right. Right, exactly. Okay. When you do use a partner, what cut do you usually give them as far as equity and or cash flow?
Okay. Well, each deal is a little different. Let me tell you what the norm in the industry is. You'd have a general partner. I would be the general partner. I'd be the person in charge. I'd put the whole entire deal together, and I'd sign on the note to borrow the majority of the money, and we'd raise 20 to 30% from the members that want to be in this apartment building. So let's just take $1 million example. Say you want to buy an apartment building for $1 million, and a bank's going to lend you $700,000. So you need to raise $300,000. So I would decide who I'd let in the deal. I would be the person in control. I'd be the general partner. I would sign on the $700,000 note, and I would be in control of the LLC that takes in the $300,000, and the general partner would take 25% of the deal. I don't charge any of my partners anything up front. I don't take profits from the sale, or I don't take profits from, if you were going to sell the property, until everyone gets their money back. But the general partner would receive 25% of the net each month, and then the rest of the group would split the profits, right? So the general partner would take his share for running the deal, and then the rest of the group would split their profits.
Right. Okay. What type of corporate structure do you hold these commercial properties under?
For me, I mean, LLCs seem to be the norm. I have a lot of LLCs, probably close to 30 different ones. I think the C Corps kind of died out on us here. So I would never buy anything in your name. No DOBs anymore, or DOAs, excuse me. Just LLCs. Real easy to set up. Hire a lawyer to do it. Set it up right. Or if you're adventurous, get on the internet and pay $300, $400, $500.
Gotcha. Okay. What are the most important formulas or equations you use on a day-to-day basis to determine if you want a deal or not?
Oh, Well, I have models set up on Excel spreadsheets that are just way too complicated to get into. But what would I look at when analyzing a deal? Well, I'd be really interested in the collections of a property. I'd be really interested in the net operating income, and I'd be real interested in, like lost history. I want to know the story. I know there's a lot of financial terms I can throw at everybody, throw out right now. It wouldn't serve justice. We're going to have to come back and do this. But there's a good 5 to 10 ratios that you want to check. And, some of them, are what I like to look at. I want to look at the rent roll. I want to see the physical occupancy. I want to see who's living there. I want to see when the leases were issued. Economic occupancy is really the collections. You can fill up a building. You can say you're 100% full, but I want to see who's paying, right? We can fill up a building with people that live under a bridge. I've seen it done to some buyers in the past, but I want to see the economic occupancy. I want to see how well you're collecting that money, and then I want to take the money collected, and I want to look at your expenses. I want to look at your utility bills. I want to look at your insurance bills. I want to make sure you're current on your mortgage. So it's nothing really different than looking at a balance sheet and a profit and loss and a cash flow statement, again, which is stuff we're just going to have to go through at another time. But, folks, an apartment business, an apartment building is no different than running any other business. And what makes this even more exciting is if you don't want to do it, hire a third-party management company to come on in and do it, and give them a small piece of the action, hire a bookkeeper and a CPA, and you can virtually do this. And I have a course in this too. You can virtually run your apartment building from your home office. I do it all the time. It's all online. I travel all over the world. I pull up my applications. I pull up my software. It's so exciting. I can see exactly where I am with every single unit I own, folks. Every single property, every single-family house, every tenant, who's paid, who hasn't paid, you name it, it's all online. And that's how we need to run our real estate businesses now. Forget the old way. You'll lose money. Life is way too short, and life is way too expensive. Get online and run your real estate, and that's what we're going to be talking about in the future as well.
Awesome. Okay. And let me see here. Where are you finding the deals?
Oh, Tim, if I give away my watering hole, it's going to dry up. So, I mean, I'll give you some basic ones. First of all, I love loopnet.com. It's just get on the internet. It's free. If you get real serious about it, pay for the service so you can see the deals first. So there's a lot of good stuff on LoopNet, and through LoopNet, there's a section where you can, send notes to the listing broker. Get to know the broker. That's what I did. Just, even if you're not interested in the property, but if you found something in the area that you like, well, tell the listing broker that. Introduce yourself. Send some information over. See what else he has. So LoopNet, brokers, and then there's some, there's some great national companies. Since this is such a wide phone call, I know who I use here in Texas. I like Tarantino Properties. I like ARA Properties, and I have my own small clique. I've met 3 to 5 brokers that I really like. They know what I want, and they don't waste my time, and they do their due diligence. And when they believe they have something, they send it to me. So you want to get involved. You want to get started. Too much sweat equity. Don't treat this like a single-family house business. Don't just start driving around looking for vacant apartment buildings. Get online, find yourself a real estate broker, let them do the heavy lifting. And, there's other ways too. You can start using property management companies. That's a little more complicated, and that's more stuff we'll get into in the future. Go get a real estate broker, commercial real estate broker, not a single-family house broker.
Gotcha. Okay. Let me see here. When you say use life insurance to buy real estate, can you explain how you do that and what you mean?
Sure. I really mean a life insurance company. A life insurance company. Get a life insurance company to fund your deal. They have a lot of money. Life insurance companies are required to keep a lot of money, and they're lenders. They're lenders to people that want to buy apartment buildings like you and me. They need to lock up their money long term, right? I mean, they're in the business of paying out on policies. So they're probably paying 5 to 10% a year on a policy that's due. Where are they going to get that money? So they need to constantly be investing their money, and investing in an apartment building, where you steal the deal, and something that's worth $4 million, you bought it for $2 million, and then you're going to bring 20% in. The life insurance company is getting an incredible deal. They're lending you money to buy the deal, but at the same time, they're in first position. If anything goes wrong, they're going to take it back. They're going to be way in the money, because they own this incredible asset for what? 30, 40 cents on the dollar. So they can even turn around and sell it and make a profit. I hope that doesn't happen. So life insurance companies, people need to just, take a larger view. It's just not banks. It's just not private lenders. Life insurance companies are a great source of borrowing money for real estate investors.
So how do you find them?
Well, my broker actually, when you meet your broker, my broker helped me find a few. And matter of fact, one particular company here in Texas financed my last 2 deals. It worked out fantastic. I mean, they were more excited about a particular deal than I was. It was unbelievable. They couldn't wait to lend me a few $1 million. They were rushing the deal, if you can believe it or not. They got on the property within 24 hours of knowing that I was thinking about buying it. So brokers are a good way of finding life insurance companies. You might want to hire a mortgage broker. A commercial mortgage broker is another great way of finding money sources. They'll know exactly what life insurance companies are lending, because you know what? If the commercial broker is any good, the life insurance company is going to contact the mortgage broker. So do it yourself, do your homework, get online, see if you can find one, talk to your brokers, find out what life insurance companies are lending, or you don't want to do the heavy lifting, hire a commercial mortgage broker to go find life insurance companies. He already has them all lined up. So he'll know exactly what they're looking for. He'll know if your deal fits their bill.
Right. Okay. Let me see here. How do you convince a new broker that you are not just a tire kicker and can actually perform, I guess, if you were new?
Yeah. You know what? I was just having this conversation earlier with one of my business partners. Folks, credibility is very important. It really is, because when you go after an apartment building, you might tie that apartment building up for what? I mean, anywhere from 30 to 90 days, or maybe even 120 days. So the seller really wants to feel comfortable. They really want to feel comfortable that you're going to perform. So they're really careful on choosing, who's for real and who's not for real. So here's what I'd recommend you do when you're just getting started. Get financially organized. Get your financials, do your balance sheet. I mean, get it all down, financial statements. Have it ready to go. I call it a bragging folder. Create your own bragging folder. Get your financials, anything that you've done in life that you're proud of. What's your story? They want to know who you are. They want to know your bio. So don't be, scattering all over the place right before it's time. Have it ready even before you buy a property, and always update it. So you really, you just separate yourself from the people and the tire kickers, that are wasting people's time. So that's the first way of making yourself look like, you're going to close and you're not just someone wasting time. The second way is, folks, when I first started out, I teamed up with a group that had the experience to buy apartment buildings. I didn't have a track record, so I joined someone's deal. I was kind of the apprentice. I was their apprentice, right? So,
Right.
So, in matter of fact, that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow night in the webinar as well. It's about joining my group. It's just a great way of building your own track record, because that will go on your resume, and you learn the process. I mean, single-family houses, you might not get hurt if something goes wrong, but if something goes wrong with buying an apartment building, it could be painful. So what I would suggest is get involved in someone else's deal, partner up, spread out the risk, learn the process. Don't just read about it. I'm telling you, and I get so passionate, Tim, because we're seeing prices right now that I don't know if we're ever going to see again. I mean, everyone that's way older than me keeps telling me that this is just the most incredible time they've ever seen in their lifetime. They make me feel like it's never going to happen again in this century. So please don't overanalyze. Don't sit back and buy every single book and don't do anything. Get out of your home office, get involved, go to your local RIA, partner up with people, and you got to get that real life experience. School's over.
Right. Okay. All right. Let me see here. When you started your biz, you had no money and credibility. If you could start over, knowing what you know now, what are the most important things you would absolutely do to kick your biz in high gear quickly?
Well, Tim, I started out buying single-family houses, and I was searching for passive income. And folks, I spent almost a decade buying single-family houses. I own 102 of them. I think I spent way too much time, because I was once looking at a photograph of all these houses together on one sheet, and it just looked like an apartment building. So I said to myself, holy cow, what am I doing here? I mean, great investment. I love the business, but, so I got 102 houses on the left side here. Why not just go buy a building, that, creates just as much money? And I sort of did that. So you want to talk about compressing decades into minutes. If I can give someone advice out there, don't feel like you have to start with single-family houses because that's what you were told in the past. It's nice, but if that's what you want to do, start with the apartment building. It's really no different. It's just a few more zeros. I mean, get yourself a small building. Start off small, 12, 34 units, something like that. And I wish I did that in the beginning, because I spent way too much time just following the same old formula with single-family houses. I wish I sought out people that owned apartment buildings quicker in my real estate career. It's almost like the secret society, Tim. It's like you walk outside, like, who owns all that commercial real estate? You never hear about it. I mean, all those strip centers and all those massive complexes. I mean, you probably talk to people who own single-family houses every day, right?
Right.
But you don't talk to people that own apartment buildings every day. Well, folks, I'm here. You know, I'm here to help. Anyone has any questions, please come forward, join what we're doing here. But when you find a commercial investor, go right at them. Go figure out. Go ask them for a question. Take them out for lunch. You know, find out what's working. You got to get away from the single-family house formula because I'm telling you, it doesn't pay enough. And, you know, apartment buildings, I mean, the floodgates opened up for me. And we're going to talk more about that tomorrow night, too.
Right. Okay. Here's a follow-up question to that. Why would an experienced group or an experienced investor want to take on an apprentice?
I tell you what, as a business owner, Tim, I've had enough with employees. I just had enough with the employee mentality. I'm very concerned about the future and when it comes to employment statistics and the direction America's going in. I want partners. You know, I want to build my business with partners. So that's really all there is to it. I mean, if you're a partner in one of my deals, you're going to be accountable. I mean, because you got skin in the game. It means something to you. It's not just a paycheck. It's your future.
Right. That's true. Okay. What kind of down payment would I need to buy an apartment building?
Well, Tim, it really depends on the individual. The last two deals that I've done, it was 20% down. I remember in the last 6 to 18 months, we got to a point where it took 35 to 40% down. Right now, a lot's coming down, and you can probably get in a deal for 25, 30% down if you don't have much of a track record.
I see. Okay. And so that could mean your own money, or it could mean you partner up with somebody. You know, you bring the deal, they bring the money for the down payment. Correct?
I mean, absolutely. I was out to lunch with a friend last week who, I mean, classic story of knowing that someone has nothing. And they just have absolutely nothing, and they found this most incredible apartment deal. I was jealous that he didn't come to me first, but he found a money partner. So that's it, right? Someone puts up the money, and he runs the deal. They split the apartment building 50-50. That's a great way of getting involved in this business. How about that? No money down.
Cool. Okay. And just out of curiosity, how did he found that good deal?
He went to the foreclosure sale here in Texas. Here in Texas, they put out a list, and it's a special servicing list. We're not going to go into detail right now, but the properties that get in trouble, they end up on a hot list, and
right.
Some of them get posted for foreclosure. And when you start following those deals, not all of them foreclose. And that's what he did. He was following these deals. It didn't foreclose, and he was able to contact the lender who was taking back the note. They worked out a deal, and that was it. I mean, 30 years of equity was just wiped away from that deal. The lender was more than happy to piecemeal this deal together so they can get rid of the guy who skipped town on them, bring in a new buyer. Forget about trying to make money on the deal. Just make the lender whole. That's all he wanted. And so one more time. So, my buddy, no money down, and the person that invested the money made a huge equity score. I mean, huge. I mean, he doubled, if not tripled, his investment from day one, and he's going to get the cash flow. I mean, the building's going to cash flow at least $10,000 or $15,000 net a month. I know it may not sound like, yeah.
That is a sweet deal.
I mean, can you imagine? I mean, so they split it. I mean, $7,500 or $5,000 a piece, and they put it on overdrive. They put a property management company in there. One person oversees everything. They get all the tax write-offs. Hopefully they don't have to pay too many taxes on the money that they make off of the property. Maybe one day they sell it. Maybe, it just becomes part of their legacy, and for the rest of their life, it cash flows. Cash flows.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, that's inspiring for sure.
Right.
Yeah, so everybody, if you're starting out no money, I mean, just go scout for deals and bring it to experienced people like Alan,
Absolutely.
and yeah, do deals with them. So yeah, definitely, become their apprentice and do deals with them. Okay, where can I find private money?
You have an Uncle David? Everyone has an Uncle David. Let me tell you what I mean by that. I mean, seriously, your mom, your dad, your parents, your grandparents, your best friends. I would start with that angel money, easiest to get. You're comfortable asking for it, and maybe they want to help you out. Maybe they want to get involved. So that's a great private money source. Another source for private money. Tim, I'm speaking at Entrust soon, right?
Right. This Saturday. Yep.
Yeah, fantastic IRA company, folks. Entrust allows people to take their IRAs and self-direct them and deal in real estate, for example. I bet you didn't know this because it's not a fee-driven industry like stocks and bonds. So, for example, folks, I have my money in Entrust, and I do real estate deals in my IRA account. Now, private money, you know how many people have 401k money sitting around, or IRA money, or SEP, or Roth money just lying around? You know how much it's earning? 0%. It's earning 0%. So if you can put a deal together, whatever it costs, pay them 5% or 10% on their money, they'll love it. They'll love it. So you go find a company like Entrust. You show them how all they do is transfer their money over to Entrust. Entrust will show you folks how you can take that private money and invest it in real estate. So you just got to get a little, just come up with some ideas. Money shouldn't be holding people back, Tim. I'm telling you, if you find the property, you have the desire, and you got the hunger, the money's going to follow, folks. The money will follow.
Right. Yeah, it always, money always follow good deals for sure. And so yeah. Okay. Let me see here. Can you find these deals in other states?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this is a national problem we have right now in the real estate market. Folks, look, here's the way I see it. Trillions of dollars needs to be refinanced in the commercial real estate business. Trillions of dollars. And what that means is the people that own it, they need to come up with new financing quick, or they're going to lose their properties. Well, some of them are way underwater. No one's going to lend them money. They're going to lose their properties. So it's just not here in Texas. It's all over the United States. It's actually all over the world right now. But I mean, there's great opportunities everywhere within the United States. There's auctions out there. I mean, get a broker. LoopNet has, I think it was like 800,000 properties listed, commercial properties, just in Texas. I mean, there's plenty of websites out there. They're all national. So just keep looking, hire a broker, get on the internet, talk to your bank. I mean, banks are taking back properties, like you hear they're taking back houses. Go talk to your banker. I bet you they have a real estate portfolio. They're acting like brokers right now.
I see. Okay. Okay, if you're starting out and you have no connections, how can you start?
Okay, I think you should. I think you should go to your local networking club, whatever that is. For me, I used to go to. We have a club here called the Rich Club, and we have the Wealth Club, or the National RIA. Go to a real estate association. Where do you find them? Just get on the internet, and you'll find them. Google them. So try to get around like-minded people. For me, that made all the difference. I got a great partner. His name's Dave. He's my business partner, and we connected at one of these networking events. So, I mean, you're going to find that, you have some strengths, and, you take on a partner, they have other strengths, right? Maybe someone's the gas and the other person's the brake. So look for a partnership. There's, there's so many groups out there. Like I said, so the internet And you know what, Tim, what I'm doing right now, I'm looking for a few partners, and I'm going to take them in, and I'm going to show them everything that I've learned. I have this incredible seminar coming up where we're going to have it at my apartment building. We're going to talk more about that tomorrow night. So we're going to have learning everything about apartment buildings at my apartment building. Tim, how's that?
Yep, that's awesome. That is a great opportunity, and we'll let everybody know about that on tomorrow's webinar. So you guys make sure you check out email tomorrow and attend tomorrow's webinar as well to learn how you can work with Alan, be his apprentice, and go check out his apartment buildings and stuff like that. So pretty excited about that for sure. All right, here's another question. Can you really do this with no money?
Sure. I mean, it's harder. I mean, it's not like buying houses Carlton Sheets way with no money down, but it's harder. I mean, owner financing, you know, find someone, a don't want or doesn't want the property, go find a great deal. I mean, if someone found me a great deal here in Texas, Tim, an incredible deal, well, I would take them in as a partner in a second. I mean,
right.
So there's two things right there. Why can't you go borrow money? Why can't you find a money partner? You guys are going to have to get out of your comfort zone, okay? A lot of us are all in the same position. I've been in that position. I mean, sooner or later, just go to a networking meeting. You know, come up with the plan, write it down, do something different. You know, motion. I mean, make a move. A lot of people don't have money. You know, go to the IRA, go to Entrust. I mean, they meet once or twice a month, and you know, show some investors your plan. They will get behind you. If you have a good plan, they will get behind you. If you have a good plan, I'll get behind you. So the answer is absolutely yes, because we all start up with no money.
Okay. All right. Let me see here. What if I buy a building and the market goes down?
Yeah. You know what, folks? Buy it right. I mean, just buy it right. I mean, I'm getting incredible deals right now. I'm buying buildings that are worth $4 million for $2 million. So, you know, what's that really mean? I'm buying something that costs $13,000 and I'm renting it out for $400, $500, $600 a month. So no matter what happens to the market, folks, I actually thought about this in numbers. If you rent something out for $400 a month, that's $13 a day. And if you want to round that off even lower, it's 50 cents an hour. So who cares? Who cares about the market? Don't pay too much for the property. And we're in the cash flow business. We're absolutely in the cash flow business. So even if the market adjusts down more than it already has, I mean, if the market was up here and we're already buying over here, well, first of all, at least you didn't buy it up here, and you're buying it over here, and maybe it goes down more, but you're cash flowing it. You're cash flowing it. You're cash flowing it. So, of course, the trick would be to, you know, ride it back up like that. So I'm not here to say the market's going up or down. I'm just saying that it got totally destroyed in the last few years, and it's getting harder and harder for me to find deals right now. I'm seeing a lot of strength in it. So it's all about the cash flow, and as long as you buy the property right, if the market goes down, it won't make a difference in your asset anyway.
Gotcha. Okay. That's yeah. That's. Yeah, I mean that is true. You are holding on to it. You're not trying to sell it right now.
Right, Jim? Because I'm not here trying to help anyone create a new job. I mean, flippers and wholesalers. I mean, fantastic, but to me, that's just more of a glorified job that you use the term real estate for. Cash flow, folks, cash flow. I want you to be able to wake up tomorrow morning and you decide what you're going to do. Absolutely. You decide. You decide if you want to go see a movie with your spouse or or play with the children, or maybe you're feeling ambitious, you drive out to your property. I want you to be able to decide. And if you're flipping properties or flipping apartment buildings, and it's a job. You found a great deal. You could have held on to it and cash flowed it between $10,000 and $20,000 a month, but you wanted to make a quick few $100,000 and you flipped it. So what do you have left? You have a few $100,000 left in a bank account. It's going to make you sick while you watch it tick down to zero and no money coming in. That's what it's going to do.
Right. Awesome. All right. Well, you've been answering a lot of questions, so we'll just have one more question here,
okay,
and then we'll end the webinar for today. I think Gregory must have missed the earlier when you talk about the formula. What formulas do you use to tell if you got a deal or not?
Well, folks, I have some software that I've created that I'm going to be sharing with my students. So, but formulas, I mean, you want to look at like any business, You want to look at the money coming in, the money coming out, and what's left over. It's really that simple.
Right. Alan, are you still there?
Yeah, I am. You want me to keep going? I mean, we look at physical occupancy, economic occupancy, net operating income, debt service coverage ratios. I mean, Tim, I can keep going on, but that would be getting a little too technical for this question and answer.
Right. Okay. Well, that's fine. So we can save that for like some other training call then. Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, that has been awesome. I don't know how many questions they've asked you. A lot.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Well, thank you, everyone. Tim, you going to tell them about the webinar tomorrow night?
Oh yes. Let's tell them about that. Well, everybody, Alan and I are doing another webinar tomorrow, and on tomorrow's webinar, you can learn more specifically the 5 easiest ways to get started in commercial real estate investing and start making yourself some massive passive income. And also, you're going to learn about opportunities on how you can become Alan's apprentice to work with Alan personally and do deals with him. And so you're going to get to learn all of that tomorrow. So make sure you check your email tomorrow and get on tomorrow's webinar. And yeah, both Alan and I are looking forward to talking to you on tomorrow's webinar. So, all right. Well, with that, thank you so much, everybody, for coming on today's webinar, and thank you so much, Alan, for your generosity to take your valuable time and come on here and answering all of these questions. And this Wynell said you have beautiful eyes.
Tim, you're going to have to show me how to work this better. I just caught that. Beautiful. Well, thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, Alan. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. Cash flow.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Yeah. Bye.